World Extermination Radio with your hosts, John Vail and Tanner West.
Alright, welcome back to World Extermination Radio. We're your hosts, John Vail.
And Tanner Splatterhouse West.
And we got some pretty mean Doom Marines with us today. We have the initiator of the Slaughterfest 2000 series of Megawads, Sebastian Graham.
Hi.
And we have another famous Doom Marine, most notable for Shaitan's Luck and Newgothic movement, ArmouredBlood.
Hey, what's up?
All right. So I guess today we're going to talk about the dreaded S word, which is not what you think it is. It's slaughters. We're just gonna slaughters are kind of like they're kind of like a subgenre of most Doom levels, because traditionally most Doom levels have, they have like monster progression. You start off with like the light monsters, and then you move on to the heavier, more difficult stuff. And slaughters are kind of their own thing, where it just kind of skips all that and it goes right into unrealistically difficult situations. It just kind of throws all the traditional Doom rules aside, and the level designers who create it are just like, fuck it, I'm gonna make something as hard as I want. And I think it's pretty awesome. I think it's like, well, if you could think of Doom as like, just kind of like its own like musical genre, and Slaughterfest would be kind of like a subgenre of that. Like if for example, if Doom was rock and roll, Slaughterfest would be kind of like classic rock or heavy metal or something like that.
Yeah, I lean more towards the heavier side.
Yeah, definitely.
I think if Slaughterfest or Slaughter Match were a type of music, it would be more like speed metal, where you're trying to cram so many notes that nobody can play it.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I said it would be like grindcore or death metal.
Yeah. It's cool though, because like it's something I've always been trying to. Well, I haven't always been trying, but it's something I'm trying to open up to now. Because I've always naturally when I first started getting into Doom level design, I always paid a lot of attention. I observed a lot of screenshots, and I always tried to make levels that looked good. And I didn't really take too much into account about the actual gameplay elements of it. I just kind of placed monsters where I wanted them, and I figured, the Doom guy could use a shotgun in this part and some health kits here and stuff like that. I never really considered designing, Doom levels around that crazy league of difficulty.
Yeah.
And it didn't really open my eyes to it until the Slaughterfest series come out, which is a series of Megawads, because it started with Slaughterfest 2011, and we're closing up on Slaughterfest 2013 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it wasn't until then that I actually kind of realized that this is a pretty big thing. Like people, like I always thought Slaughterfest were kind of like almost like a joke, really, like just kind of see how many monsters you can cram into one area. But it's
honestly, when I started, I didn't think it was going to take off like it did.
Yeah, it really blew up. I was really impressed. It's got a ton of mappers in it, and I'm really excited for it. Because I loved when the first Slaughterfest came out. I didn't think I would like it, but I gave it a chance to just kind of open up to it, and it's a lot different than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, no, I agree though. I don't know, something for me. I personally like fast-paced gameplay. Not to the point of where you're just running through a level, mowing down easy monsters. I like to be challenged a lot, and like I figured that, like, since I started playing, like, I started with, I guess, like, Alien Vendetta when I was a little younger. And then, like, I guess just playing, like, Hell Revealed and Hell Revealed 2 just kind of made me realize how much I love those, those layouts, those scenarios, and that style of gameplay. And I guess really just John, he always does, basically, recommended me some WODs, and, Slaughterfest is one of them, and I played it and got my ass handed to me, absolutely, hands down. And but it's fun. It's like that fucking that monkey on my back. It's like that to this day, dude, I can't like compete with in these levels, dude. Like a lot of times I'll just be like, yeah, I think I'll give that slaughter map, that Slaughterfest WOD, that certain map a try. I'll try to beat it for the 10,000th time. You know what I mean? And like,
just get slayed.
Yeah, I just get slayed like ridiculously. But I mean, it's fun though, because I love just constantly like being on my toes, having to watch every inch of my screen for a projectile, and like it's fun. It's fast paced. You fly around. It's not boring. You know what I mean? There's always like something to do, something to kill, and like something to avoid, and it's just the intensity. Just it's right down my alley.
I always thought it would be fun to consider Slaughterfest as a drinking game, where you just kind of pick a random level, and you just play until you die, and every time you die, you have to take a drink. And
Well,
if you're like me, that happens pretty much every 35 seconds.
It's gonna be a really short drinking game because the liquor's gonna be gone in like a minute.
Yeah, you get knocked out pretty quick.
Yeah, definitely. Now I wanted to ask both of you, but I guess I'll start with you, Sebastian. So how did you get into slaughter maps? Like, what made you really, honestly, just say I want to fucking take this WOD over the top, like where it's never gone before? How did that start?
Well, I guess it all started with when I first played Hell Revealed.
Hell Revealed, yes.
Hell yeah.
And I saw map 24, and I was like, holy fucking shit! I can't believe someone crammed this many monsters into a level. And then I wanted to kind of do stuff like that because I thought it was awesome. And that's really just how it started.
Yeah. Do you have any other favorite levels?
Let's see. I don't know, anything that just has really tough gameplay I like. I mean,
yeah.
There's too many to name, really.
Yeah. We just recently got done playing Kama Sutra.
Yeah.
That's a fun blast fest.
Ooh.
Definitely.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
Actually, yesterday we sat down. John came over to my house and we hooked up with a modem, and we literally got like past like 16 or 17 levels. We sat there for like 4 hours just playing co-op. It was a blast.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it was awesome.
Oh, the Speed of Doom. I really like Speed of Doom.
Speed of Doom, yes, that's a very good one too.
Those levels are really hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Speed of Doom, especially the later
check that out.
ones. Yeah, you should. It's awesome.
I think there might be two or three levels in that I can actually do from pistol start, and the rest of them just like, no, forget it.
Yeah. I like the pistol start a lot, and I guess that's why I die a lot, because I usually always pistol start levels. I'm not really good about saving. Do you guys save the game a lot when you're playing these really hard levels?
Well, that's one of those, yeah. I mean, I play this game with myself sometimes where I'll start a Mega WOD and maybe play it on an easier difficulty setting and just see how far I can get on one life.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me it generally depends if I'm just like really trying to get through a WOD or if I just want to try it for just playing naturally and trying to get through that. And I'll usually pistol start if I'm playing naturally.
Yeah.
Now, see what I do is, and I don't know, John told me this, he said it's kind of different, I don't know, but, when it comes to harder WODs and stuff like that, I play a Mega WOD from level 1 to level 30, but I start every level at a pistol start. But I'll, if it's really challenging, I'll save sometimes in the middle of a level, but once I, complete that level, even if I, teleport to the next level, I'm still gonna, change level to that level just to get a fresh pistol start. Now, like, you guys do that at all, or you just, like...
I have done that, with, like, some easier WODs.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. Because a lot of levels are designed to, be playable from a pistol start, and that kind of like, because especially in like Kama Sutra, for example, because we were playing that, and in some of the levels you're kind of like expected to like get that first super shotgun or like whatever, and you start off surrounded by imps, and you can use your BFG that you had from the last level and all 600 cells that you collected from it, and you just kind of blast through the starting part, and there's like really the whole like challenge that they stage for you is not. It doesn't apply, because you carried all those weapons from the previous level.
Yeah. But with I noticed with some of the really, really hard slaughter maps like Sunder and stuff like that, even if you give yourself all the ammo at the beginning, you're still fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because they'll let you max your ammo out. They make sure you have enough ammo for every situation, but it's just so overwhelming that it's like, you know.
Yeah, it's not even the ammo that's the problem. It's like, even when you're like completely fully stocked with all the weapons and Megasphere and all the ammo you could possibly ask for, the odds are just so stacked against you. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So is that kind of like your focus when you're like designing levels like that? Like, because like when I design my levels, you know, I kind of I focus on gameplay too, but I kind of consider, you know, just progressively accumulating stuff as you move through the game. Now, when you guys design your levels, do you just like, you think like whatever, I'm just gonna do whatever, like whatever's gonna be fun? Like there's pretty much no rules, right?
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, whenever I make a map, usually it's like I'll start with a pretty good idea of what I want to start with. Like, this will be a really cool fight to do, and I'll just build around that, and then I'll just keep coming up with new ideas and adding on to it that way. And usually it just works out. I'll do a bit of playtesting, but it usually works out.
I've always been a fan of your maps. Newgothic is that's one of the top WASs that I'm still at war with. I can't. There's still so many levels in that I just can't.
Yeah, I agree, John. I agree.
You're seriously one of my favorite mappers because you're able to design levels that are just so heavily gameplay oriented, but also look good. And that's a really difficult challenge that I think a lot of people struggle with. Because I know a lot of people who can make really nice, very pretty looking levels, but they can also, and there's other people who can make really challenging and fun levels too. But very few of them can combine both of those things together. And Newgothic stands out as one of those WADs that can be really good looking and awesome to play.
Well, I don't know about that. There's some holes in that I think I should have filled a little bit better, but it's not bad.
Oh, come on. Take some credit.
Well, it is only movement 1. Do you intend to release the other movements, movement 2, or any more do you have any more sequels coming out for Newgothic?
I intended to, and I've been working on a map for a while now, but it's really just a lack of finding good MIDI music, because like wherever I look, there's some good stuff, but there's just not enough to really inspire me to keep going. So I need to find some more stuff.
Oh, so the music really pumps you up before you make a map, huh?
Yeah, I really like fitting a map to the music, and that's just what I like to do a lot.
That's a cool strategy. I know. I think it was John Romero said in the first Doom the Way It Did thread when he made his Doom World post, he said that like when he comes up with a lot of the designs for his maps, he just kind of has to set the mood for it. Just kind of like turning off the lights, lighting up some candles, and putting on some metal music to listen to while you draw shapes and stuff. And that's usually what kind of, and that helps me too. In fact, a lot of my maps, at least some of my longer ones, pretty much were created by listening to an album from start to finish.
Yeah, you come up with you find the creative cues from the music, and it just gives you random ideas that just work well.
Yeah, exactly. Something you just couldn't think of, just sitting alone in the dark. Because usually when I design levels, just like by myself and like not listening to music or anything, I'm constantly berating myself. Every time I draw a room, I'm just like, this room is stupid. This fight's not gonna work. This level's gonna suck. And I'm just like, I'm so, my self-esteem just like drops like down like a bottomless roller coaster.
Now let me ask you, ArmouredBlood, the same question I asked Sebastian. How did you, get into slaughter maps? I'm sorry. How did you plunge into that? What was your first step? What inspired you?
Well, it was a lot of, like, I played a lot of Scythe and Scythe 2, and that inspired me, and then I played Hell Revealed and Hell Revealed 2, and I think, I don't know, I just started making bigger and bigger maps with more and more mobs in them until I started through Chaitan's Luck, and that just kind of went from there.
Nice. So now, okay, maybe I should have, maybe I'm at fault here for not really looking into it. But have you done any other WODs that are sort of slaughter oriented besides Newgothic Movement 1?
Just a few maps for Slaughterfest, I think, and
We did a couple
random
of speed maps when I was doing those speed map thingies. There's a few speed map compilations with some of your stuff in it, kind of like that also.
Yeah, I did some of those.
Now, Sebastian, aka GRB, what other, I know you obviously started Slaughterfest series. What are some of your, personal works?
I don't really have any stuff in the archive except for maybe 2 maps when I first started that aren't very good, but all the links to everything I have should still be good on all the threads. I guess there's a new map I just finished today, which is I actually think is one of my better maps. I tend to like making shorter levels just because they're easier to pop off.
Yeah. But you're like an idea machine. Because like even when we're just talking, you're just kind of like.
This kind of happens.
Yeah, you just kind of like spit out some like really cool like just like monster traps and like just like random stuff that just kind of pops up, and it's really surprising because a lot of times I'm like when you're just like spitting these out, I'm like, holy crap, I wish I could have thought of that sooner. Because I always sometimes I spend like days and days like trying to come up with like a design for one level, and you're just kind of like spitballing stuff like left and right. I love that.
Yeah, that's what happened with this one. I just started drawing shapes and like, oh, this happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the way to go, man.
You got some prime playtesters you're talking to right here.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You can download it when we're done.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's very difficult. I don't even think I can beat it on Ultraviolence myself, but I know Time of Death did it. So.
See, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about because one of the reasons I can't like seem to fathom. I mean, I've designed some like Slaughterfest before, but I'm not sure if you can really classify them as slaughters. But like one of the things I have trouble engaging in is when I'm designing a level. I kind of like have trouble like forcing myself to design a level that will be too hard for me to beat, because I have the intention of wanting to play through it and making sure that it works. Because a lot of times when I'm designing levels, I like forget to make a door work or something, or like an elevator will not go up to where I want it to go, or something like that. And you have to like check these things to make sure they work. And I guess theoretically I could play the map with no monsters to see that it's possible to get to the exit. But I kind of have I have trouble kind of like understanding like the kind of when you're like placing all these monsters, like kind of like deciding what's fair for the player. It's like do I just surround them with like thousands of cyber demons, or like is there like a method to it?
Well, here's what I do. When I'm making a room and I want to figure out, I try to figure out. Well, I mean, if it's like one of the earlier rooms, I won't maybe try to put 1,000 cyber demons in, but I'll put in like I'll say okay, so I have this big room here where there's some platforms here. If I were to walk into this room as the player, what would I absolutely not want to see on those platforms? And I put that in.
Probably either chain gunners or revenants, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
A big fat pile of arc vials.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So when you're designing your levels, you kind of like want the player to walk into a room and just be like, oh god.
Exactly. I want every room to be a new, oh fuck, he did that.
That's an awesome way to think of that.
That's probably how a lot of like slaughter stuff comes about. It's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna overbob him with things that he doesn't want to say.
Like put pain elementals really high and really far away so they can put out the maximum number of lost souls.
Now that's just obnoxious right there.
so that's how you go about it, huh? So like, do you so is there like a limit? Do you like ever like see? Do you ever like design something and just be like, this is way too unfair? Or is it just like
download a dark place and play the third map? I give you a mega sphere at the beginning and a berserk pack, and that's all the help I ever give you.
that's it?
Yes. And I give you all the ammo in the world, but I don't give you any help.
How about you, ArmouredBlood? How do you go about it? Like, do you ever think there's do you ever design a level that's just like way too over the top, or do you what do you do?
I have a pretty good example of this. In I think it was Slaughterfest 2012. Yeah, that went out a while ago.
Yeah.
The one where I can't remember what I named it, but it was like decimal error or something like that.
Oh, right, that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the one with like 10,000 plus monsters. Yeah, in that one, I like I intended to have like this gigantic mass of mobs just come in and teleporting, and just getting everywhere. So it's like nowhere for you to go except for the easiest path to get through, where it's just basically just grab the BFG and start running.
Yeah.
So in that one, I actually intended to have like the 2,000 mobs coming in, but no, I messed up and hit around like 10,000, and then like I said on the thing, I'm like I messed up and I put many in, but then they're like, oh no, we liked it, so I'm like, okay, that works out.
Holy shit! five times what you intended, and they liked it. That's crazy.
Pretty much. Yeah, it got pretty empty though when I only put like 2,000 in. So they're right, I'm wrong.
That's funny though.
Yeah.
So do you guys ever like? So you guys really don't you pretty much never draw the line, really. You just kind of keep pushing it until.
Well, sometimes I'll be like, there's way too many cyber demons, or like one time I put like 100 imps in the way, and I'm like, I can't get through these imps at all. So sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I've heard that I've gotten advice from people because I've asked like various level designers, people who've made Slaughterfest in the past, for advice on how to make Slaughterfest, and they say you don't want to overwhelm the player with too many like with giant mobs and monsters. Not overwhelm him, but sometimes that'll create a grindy fight. The way he described it was because the difficulty curve shrinks as you kill more monsters. So if you were to circle strafe around a giant pile of cyber demons, you just kind of keep shooting at them, and it takes forever because they have this much health, and there's 1,000 of them, and you end up just doing the same thing over and over, and it gets the difficulty shrinks as they die because there's less of them you have to deal with.
Yeah, it needs to be manageable, but you also have to be able to get through it in a timely manner, because you'll end up with something like Map 21 of Newgothic, where it takes like an hour to get through it.
Yeah, and you don't want to bore the player to death.
Yeah.
So, you guys do a lot of speed maps, and I think I see a lot of that's one of the things I've observed in the community is a lot of Slaughterfests are associated with speed mapping too, because it seems like you guys can just kind of pump these out pretty quick, right?
Hmm.
I mean, I know a couple mappers. I know a few of them who've made a lot of speed maps in the past. In fact, they've hardly made any major releases, and I think kind of like you, Sebastian, you don't really have any like huge like really popular titles to your name besides like a bunch of scattered speed maps.
Yeah.
So is that true? Do these things just kind of come to mind? You just make them, and they're really quick to make.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not like like some of the like more I guess we could say the popular mappers that take like years to design their levels because they're like so because they're like crafting the detail into it and stuff. So this is something you just kind of pick up, and because like when I'm designing levels, I'm so like I'm so conscious and like careful about the gameplay. I can't even like I don't know. I guess I need to play more Doom in order to kind of like gauge what's too difficult and what's too easy and all that kind of stuff. Do you guys play Doom often? Is that it?
I play it a lot. I mean, being that you buy the WAD once for like $1 on Steam or whatever, and then you have basically an unlimited number of maps you can play. It's just one of the most fun things I could think of.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't play all that much anymore. Like I've just been doing other stuff. But yeah, when I was doing a lot of speed mapping, I play a lot of Doom.
Oh, okay.
To get back to the speed mapping thing, it's really about like how much you're gonna, like how long it takes is like directly proportional to how well you make the map already. And if you make it all about the gameplay and not so much about the detailing, you don't take all that much time to make it, because you make the gameplay, you test it a couple times, and just fix the bugs. And that's pretty much it.
Well, I mean, me personally, I've said this before on the show, but when I'm playing like a slaughter map or something that's just the gameplay is just so incredibly fun, I don't even pay too much attention to the detail and the layout. I mean, now honestly, you have to work with your layout when you play certain levels and whatnot. But as far as like the little tiny details, like I notice them if they're there. If they're not there, and I don't see anything, then it's not really like I'm not really like, oh, I wish there was more detail or whatever. It's like it's fine as long as the gameplay like really sticks out now, and as long as you're not making like square rooms with like 2 textures and a whole megawatt, you know what I mean? Then
Yeah, no, I understand that completely. Because you can play a lot of like especially in like Slaughterfest and stuff, because they're so focused on gameplay. You're constantly surrounded by monsters. You don't even have time to really look around at your surroundings. You're just like you're observing the basic architecture. Like you want to use this pillar to hide behind, and like you want to pinpoint where the hallways you can run to hide and where the weapons are, and you're not really looking at anything else. You're constantly dodging projectiles and just letting your guns ablaze. The detail just doesn't matter, I mean, it can to an extent, but for the most part, you're really just paying attention to the basic geometry of the level and understanding what can protect you from the monsters and where the safe routes to go and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when like, and sometimes the details can affect the gameplay as well, which is cool. And it's I don't know, it kind of it's half and half, because you wouldn't really call it a detail if it's directly part of the gameplay, but the I guess the piece or the object is so insignificant and small, and so serves like not a whole lot of purpose, but it just kind of fits in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And things like that are cool. Like when we were playing Kama Sutra, I forget what map it was. When I don't know, but there was like a pole with a bunch of eyes, I guess, or guts impaled on it, and it was set up in just a spot where when like an arc vial teleported in, it was hard to just sit straight on and hit him with like rockets or bullets. You had to kind of go to the in the corners in between the wall and the post.
Yeah.
This sounds really so obscure, but you get the idea.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are the things you focus on when you're playing. Well, is there anything you guys wanted to talk about? Do you have like new releases coming out soon, or?
Well, I'll just pop off maps whenever I get the urge, as usual.
Yeah.
Well, I actually downloaded A Dark Place right after you said it, so I'm gonna check that out definitely.
Check out Metal Castle as well. I think that one's even better. I don't know. The gameplay is definitely more interesting in Metal Castle. So.
Yeah.
Metal Castle, dude.
It's there somewhere.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll look for that. I'll check that out. I'll report back to you.
Yeah. Well, this definitely gave me some ideas for some of the levels I want to make. One of the things I'm going to consider, especially when I start designing some of the levels for like my more harder levels, I'm definitely going to try to kill the Doom guy and put him in a lot of situations.
That's what I do. I'm like just. If I were to walk into this room, what would really fuck me over?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm going to consider too. But you also want to provide, a good weapon and, some health and stuff. Just to get by, to, suit them up for the next occasion.
Yeah.
But, yeah, do you guys have any last words or anything? Anything you want to fit in there that you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to cover?
I think someone should make a flying arch vial as a new monster.
A flying arc vial.
Oh my god, that'd be insane.
That's just what we need.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
I guess that does draw in another question. Do you guys ever consider? I mean, I like all of Doom's monsters, and I think all of them kind of serve a purpose. Do you guys think that there's any monsters in Doom that are redundant, or that they could or maybe there could be more monsters that could fill in for a certain position that for like a type of player that happens that plays your Doom levels? Like, can you think of like a monster that would that you wanted to use that you didn't have when you were designing your levels?
Well, I can think that definitely since cyber demons and masterminds are used more freely now, I would want some bigger monsters that were considered actual bosses rather than those guys, you know?
Yeah. How about you, ArmouredBlood? Can you think of any, or?
It's mostly, I don't really use hit scanners all that much, and so I'm just like find myself thinking like most of these guys just have regular projectiles except for revenants. So I'm like maybe some, I don't know, new monsters or like different projectile types or like multiple projectiles like Mancubi or something.
Yeah.
Spice that up a bit.
Yeah, I've thought of that too. I always thought it'd be cool to have a monster that could shoot kind of like a spread of fireballs instead of like one at a time. Kind of like it would shoot three in like three different directions, like one straight ahead and like two others kind of like at a 45-degree angle sort type thing.
All right. Well,
Did you
yes, if
Splatterhouse, did you think of any could you think of any monsters that you would like to see in Doom, or do you think any monsters are like kind of redundant, or like they kind of do the they all kind of do the same thing, or?
Yeah, I think TNT's WAD Evolution, and not so much Icarus because I didn't really play it all the way through, but TNT definitely. Dude, just the smaller monsters, the use of imps, zombie men, and shotgun guys over and over. I mean, I'm talking like, and you know, for me, I can't stand that. Like, it's just, I feel like they overused them, and to me, and it wasn't even in like giant hordes or anything cool. It was just kind of like scattered out, and to me, that just got like really redundant. And it's all right at times, but when it's just, I felt like it was in place of like bigger monsters. Things like that really just get on my nerves. Otherwise, like, I think every Doom monster has, serves its own purpose and is really great, especially the combinations that you can make. But one thing that I want to say is that I really, really enjoy playing Invasion. I believe is it Armageddon? I'm not sure. But the one Invasion WAD uses Duke Nukem 3D monsters, and that just, and I played Duke Nukem 3D and Doom simultaneously growing up. Obviously, I lean a little more towards Doom, but just seeing those monsters and being able to fight them in Doom is just, I think, is really, really awesome. Now, I don't. If I saw them in every single, people started like incorporating them into like megawads and stuff like that. I don't know, but it is kind of cool to fight them, every now and then or on an occasional basis. So I think that's something that's really cool as far as custom and new monsters go.
Yeah, actually, I really liked Stronghold.
Stronghold?
Yeah. I guess it got very mixed reviews in the community, but
yeah.
I really liked all the different gameplay styles that Tormentor came up with for that.
Oh yeah, cool. Did that use a lot of new monsters too?
I think I saw more new monsters in that than anything else ever.
Yeah.
And there's like lots of new power-ups too.
Yeah. Well, I guess that kind of wraps it up. I don't know. I don't really have anything else to talk about.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay. Well, once again, it was awesome to have you guys on the show. Both Sebastian and ArmouredBlood, you guys are awesome, and keep making levels because we love all your maps. I honestly I haven't played any one of your maps. I regretted playing. They're all awesome, and we'd love to see more from you. And keep this Slaughterfest genre growing because like it's something that I always thought was really obscure a couple of years ago, and it's really starting to shine now. I didn't think was really going to come into fruition, and it's really growing, and I'm proud of it. I liked it. It's a really cool style, and it's a very interesting take on Doom level design. You know, it's so focused, and it's its own thing, and it's awesome to have people like you in the community that design levels in that style. So thanks again for being on our show.
No problem.
And
All right, thank you for having me.
yeah, and once again, this is World Extermination Radio. We're your hosts, John 40 Ounce Vail.
Tanner, Splatterhouse West.
And I guess that's it.
One last shout out to you two guys, ArmouredBlood and Sebastian, for being on the show. Thank you again.
And definitely check out Newgothic Movement, which is like one of my favorite compilations of ArmouredBlood's levels. And check out Metal Castle by General Rainbow Bacon, and also A Dark Place. All right. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, good luck, guys. It was great having you.